guys, we are back with another song by Eminem. And which one are we doing today?
Today we're doing These Demons. Do you know it?
I don't know.
So, I say this almost every time. I feel like you might recognize the chorus.
Yeah, it's probably getting old for anyone who watches all our videos.
Yeah.
I might know it. He might have shown it to me. I don't remember.
Yeah. So this is an interesting song. There's content-wise, it's all over the place. He's talking about like some very serious stuff. He's talking about some silly stuff. So it's very interesting.
Okay, it's not ringing a bell for me.
Yeah. So we'll do as we always. We'll listen, we'll break it down.
Yeah. And this video is sponsored by Carnivore Snacks. Carnivore Snacks is one of my absolute favorite snacks ever and my favorite meat snack ever. These are the bison sliders. They're brand new. You should definitely try them if you haven't yet. They also have a new Wagyu line, which is really, really great that you should definitely try. And they're like eating meat potato chips. They're absolutely delicious. All of the sliders are incredible. They're all my personal favorite. And if you haven't tried them yet, you really should. I would start with the lamb sliders or try these bison sliders or really whichever sliders, whatever type of meat you're interested in. And you can use our coupon code WithSmith for 15% off your order. And the link is in the description below. We are also sponsored by SeatGeek, which is a great website to buy tickets from. And you can get tickets for comedians, sporting events,
Concerts,
concerts. We're like a music channel. Why am I forgetting that?
Broadway.
Okay. Broadway. I don't like Broadway, but if you do, more power to you. There's a whole list of a bunch of things going on now. And you can use our coupon code with Smith for $20 off your first purchase. And the link is in the description below for both. And follow us on social media channels if you'd like to. That's our handle. That's it.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. So, as I said, this is These Demons featuring Maj, who I'm not familiar with, but he's on the hook. This is track number 10 off of Music to Be Murdered By, side B. So, here we go.
Yeah. You know what? Haters are funny, man. It's like you're gonna hate it no matter what it is, yet you still click on it. Yeah, I want you to change, but don't change. I want you to grow up, but don't age. I want the rage, but don't get too angry. I want the new, but old shady. I want you to say what they won't say. Just don't go too far, but go cray. I want you to almost lose it, man. They keep moving the goalposts, don't they? Just cut to the chase like OJ in his Bronco going up the roadway. And get off my dick if I said my balls were yarn. You bitches with crochet. All I ever wanted's a rope chain. From the day I saw Cool J on Soul Train. Now I got that Kango, 2 cables, 1 yellow and white gold plated. Just to let them know I made it.
I told my dogs we gon' get right in their ear. Yeah. What it calls now, I just gone in the lead. Yeah. Still have all these demons coming for my neck. Yeah. I ain't never coming down. Yeah.
This pandemic got.
I know this song.
You recognize the hook?
Yeah. That's the chorus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I use it interchangeably. Maybe there's a difference, but I don't.
Hmm.
I use chorus and hook interchangeably. Okay, so it starts off just with Eminem speaking, and he says, "Yeah, you know what? Haters are funny, man. It's like you're gonna hate no matter what it is, yet you still click on it." So, it's referring to the comments specifically, the clicking on
Yeah, like,
songs.
oh, what like bullshit can I say about this?
Yeah, no matter what.
Yeah. No matter we can even relate to that. We're like obviously
Yeah.
super small and like not very significant channel on YouTube, but we still get like people writing fucked up comments where I'm like, why do you even watch?
Yeah, it's funny. So Eminem comes in first verse. I want you to change, but don't change. I want you to grow up, but don't age. I want the rage, but don't get too angry. I want the new, but old shady.
So basically just saying like they want him, they're never going to be happy with anything that he does or anything that he is.
Always a critique.
And
You
it's
know,
also like an impossible box that they're trying to fit him in.
yeah, he's discussed this in other songs, but if he does like his old type of style to like grow up, you're 50 years old, why you're rapping about the same old stuff, and then he does new stuff, and people are like, why can't you be I like the old you so much better, I like when you
Yeah.
were angry, which he says, I want the rage, but don't get too angry. I want the new but old shady. I want you to say what they won't say. Just don't go too far, but go cray. I want you to almost lose it, man. They keep moving the goalposts, don't they?
So still more of the same,
Yeah.
really.
It's funny. I like the so say what they won't say, meaning like, Eminem's known for saying wild stuff, but don't go too far, but go cray.
Yeah, he
Go
just keeps
crazy.
saying the opposite of things. They're like, I want the new Shady, but the old Shady. Like, it's just all of his fans basically are just like very divided on what they want. And then
Yeah.
he's just constantly hearing comments in favor of
Contradictory.
this. Yeah, all contradictory comments. So he's like, whatever, I'm just going to do whatever I want.
And there's a little nod to lose yourself. He says, I almost want you to lose it. I want you to almost lose it, you know. So like lose yourself. And
Yeah.
then they keep moving the goalposts. So yes, it's always changing, always different. Just cut to the chase like OJ in his Bronco going off the roadway and get off my dick. If I said my balls were yarn, you bitches would crochet.
So he's described likening it to when OJ took the cops on wild police chase.
Yeah. Off the roadway.
After he was accused of killing his wife
Yeah.
and his wife's friend.
Lover or something. Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, get off my dick. So he's saying, yeah, all that bullshit you guys are talking about, right? Like, get off my dick. And then if my balls were yarn, you bitches would crochet. So you obviously crochet yarn, right?
Yeah.
So you're on his balls. And I guess the crochet is a little play on crotch, you know?
Oh, yeah.
Doesn't really sound like it, but, So these lyrics,
Smells like it.
yeah, these lyrics are a little
The
wrong here.
crotchet.
Yeah. So he says, all I ever wanted's a rope chain from the day I saw Cool J on Soul Train. Now I got that Kangol, two cables, not 2K, two cables, CABLES, one yellow and white gold plated, just to let him know I made it.
Explain.
So yeah, so it starts off. He's saying all he ever wanted was the rope chain. Like so, LL Cool J used to wear those big, thick. They're actually like they look like cables. Those interlocking, like twisted, like
Like a
braided
large
gold
version of like
chains.
a standard gold chain.
So let me see if there's an annotation.
Like
If
a
they have a
monster
picture.
sized version of like an
So
Italian
not
gold
no,
chain.
not links like that. It's literally they're
Oh.
literally called cables. They're literally like there's no openings. There's no space.
Well, no, yeah, there are some like chains that look like that. That look
Yeah,
like
but
they twist around itself.
Yeah, but when you say like Italian, I imagine the ones where you could
They have
see
ones
through
like
the
that too, like the
pieces.
twisties.
Yeah, so he would wear the big whatever.
Why don't you just Google LL Cool J chain?
Yeah, I mean, so yeah, he's saying he wanted to get a rope chain from the day he saw LL Cool J on Soul Train. So LL Cool J was on Soul Train, apparently wearing that. And then he says, "Now I got that." Okay, so these are actually so like
Oh,
that.
yeah. It's literally a giant version of like
That one's
the
opened.
Italian chains that everyone would wear back in the day.
Yeah,
Where you just
there's
have like
like
a
two.
gold chain around your neck. I don't know if it's necessarily Italian, but I just know that like
Yeah,
I
so
think they were Italian chains.
could be. Did I just lose that fucking lyrics page? Okay, I got it. So yes, he says, now I got that Kangol. So LL Cool J wore the Kangol hats too.
I
I
hate
actually think in
those.
that picture I just showed you with the
Yeah,
chains he
he's
was wearing
wearing
it.
one. I don't
So
like
he
those.
was known for that. So he's got the Kangol and two cables. So he's saying now Eminem, he's got a Kangol hat and he's got the two big chains. One's yellow and one's white gold. So, LL Cool J has the two gold ones. He's saying white gold. I don't know if that's a play on him being white or if it's just, a
Maybe.
convenient, I don't know, coincidence. And then he says, just to let him know I made it. So he's rocking all that just to let people know that he made it. Okay, so this made me laugh. The lyrics there's one word wrong here, which makes it funny. So the real line is, I told my dogs we gonna get right in a year. So it says we're gonna get right in the ear.
That makes sense though if you're like trying to like tell someone something.
Yeah.
But like yeah, I don't know.
So yeah, we're gonna get right in a year. What did it cost? Now I get gone in the leer. Yeah, yeah. Still have these demons coming from my neck. Yeah, yeah. I ain't ever coming down. Yeah, yeah.
So what's that about?
Which so
They're gonna get right in a year, meaning like we haven't made it just yet, but we'll have money in a year.
yeah. And then he
And what's a
says
leer?
like a Learjet.
What?
A Learjet.
I don't know what that is.
It's like a jet. It's just called like a Lear jet is like the proper name for, you know, like those private planes, jets.
Okay.
Yeah, so now I get gone in the Lear. So he travels in, you know, private planes. And then
And then you just read the last part of that chorus.
yeah, still have these demons coming from my neck. So he's referring to all the people that are coming after him as the
But he also has the
demons.
chains on his neck.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Like people after his money and stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Everything. They want to bring down his career, you know what I mean? And then I ain't never coming down. So that's a play on the line before where they're in the sky in the Learjet, but it's also I'm not coming down from, you know, being on top, you know, being the best, all that.
Exactly.
All right. This is where we left off, so we will pick it up.
I ain't never coming down.
This pandemic got us in a recession. We need to reopen America. Black people dying, they want equal rights. White people want to get haircuts. Some people protest, some people riot. But we ain't never escaping this virus. So the cops that are racially biased, we no longer enable these lies. You get them on tape, they stick to a story like Spider-Man crawling upside of a wall. And some are just unabiding as lawmen, like Eric Roth and like Derek Chauvin. No cap, still riding with Colin. Though some people don't like me at all. And some are like bees to flowers. Cause some people find me appalling. Ooh, I say a line, people are outraged. The press slams me again, people ain't having it nowadays. Give an album that I put out in like 2000, you griped about praise. But I wake up every day even more caked up than the makeup on your clown face. And I laid my foundation and
Told my dogs we gon' get right in their ear. Yeah. What it calls now, I dip gone in the Lear. Yeah. Still have all these demons coming from my neck, yeah. I ain't never coming down.
I got a question.
Okay. So this short verse, this is our last pause, but we'll break it down because again, if you guys aren't familiar with this, we've tried just listening through and then it's just us talking for 20 minutes and it's very tedious. All right. So he comes in second verse. This is what I was referring to before we started that
Yeah,
the
it's like a
content's
mishmash of like different
like
topics.
serious stuff and then
Yeah.
the third verse is even wilder. It's just silly. All right. So he says this pandemic got us in a recession. We need to reopen America. Black people dying. They want equal rights. White people want to get haircuts.
I'm gonna say like
Since it's
so he's talking about with the haircuts. I think he's
so
talking about
stupid.
Nancy Pelosi because that was like a whole big scandal,
So that's
right?
interesting, but I don't think so. Don Lemon on CNN made a comment about that white people just want to get haircuts. So all
I'm
right,
gonna go out on a limb and say white people were probably not the only people wanting to get haircuts. Anyone with hair probably wanted a haircut. It was
that's
so freaking long.
he's trying to draw a distinction about.
Yeah,
So it starts off the pandemic got us in a recession, right? So it's interesting. So he's obviously referring to COVID, and then he says we need to reopen America. So he's talking about that. But I do think he can be also referring to racism as a pandemic. Do you know what I mean? Because
yeah.
the rest of the content. So I think it could be interpreted as like a double meaning, right? And then he says black people dying, they want equal rights, white people want to get haircuts. So they're trying to say black people, they're serious, they're worried about serious things, and white people are worried about frivolous things because that's how easy their lives are. You know what I mean? It's like black people are dying, they're just trying not to be killed. White people have it so much better that they just want to get haircuts. So this is stupid on many levels. Again, Don Lemon made a almost exact comment on CNN during the pandemic at this time. One, it's stupid because there's tons of people, Eminem included, who were supporting the Black Lives Matter. Do you know what I mean? There was white people marching right along with black people. So it's foolish. And like you said, there was black people that wanted to get haircuts too. Do you know
Well,
what I
any
mean?
people, anyone who has hair,
Exactly.
especially men, because women, we could go without a haircut. We'll be fine. Men, like, you guys like need your haircut like monthly. Like
Yeah.
people were freaking out and cutting each other's hairs. Like if you knew a barber, like they were busy. They were so busy. They were going to people's houses left and right.
Yeah. So it is interesting. I didn't even think of the Pelosi aspect. I don't know if
Because
he could be
she had that during the lockdowns when nothing could be open. They like forcefully made her hairstylist open her salon to do Nancy Pelosi's
well,
hair.
no, so she was
When it's
willing
like no
to.
one really cares. You're like 80 years old. Like we're not gonna lose our minds if your hair's not perfectly coiffed.
Yeah.
We really don't care.
So I don't know if he's taking shots at Nancy. I don't know if he would take shots at Nancy Pelosi just based on his political views as we know them. But he's obviously talking about look at the contrast here of black people, how much harder their lives are. They're dying, and white
Yeah, no,
people,
I
their only
see that.
problems is worrying about haircuts, which I completely disagree with, but whatever. Okay, so then he continues. He says, some people protest, some people riot, but we ain't never escaping this virus.
Thank God that statement's not true.
Yeah, but we ain't never escaping this virus tell the cops that are racially biased we no longer enable these
I think
liars.
it's tell
It
the
is.
cops.
Yeah. TIL.
So yeah, thank God we did escape the virus because fuck that.
So no, again, this is what I was talking about before. The virus is the racism.
Oh,
Do
I'm
you know
just
what I
taking
mean?
everything literally right now.
Yeah. So that's what I was saying. Like when he talked about we're in a pandemic and then he proceeds to talk about, the black people fighting for equal rights. The virus, that he's referring to the pandemic is a pandemic and the virus of racism. You know what I mean?
I mean, I don't personally believe that we live in a racist country. I think there are racist individuals who do racist things, but I don't think they speak for the majority of the population, in my opinion.
No, I mean, it's fair to say historically we had a racist country. Do you know what
Yeah,
I
but I'm
mean?
saying now. I'm talking
Yeah.
about now.
Yeah, no, of course. That's everybody's equal under the law, which is all you can do. You can't control individual people in their hearts, whether they actually harbor, ill feelings towards other races, no
I
matter
think
what the
most
race
people
is.
don't.
They don't, but everybody has biases. But again, as far as society on a policy level, it's all equal. Well, unless you want to get into the affirmative action, it's actually unequal, but whatever, that's a whole nother argument.
Also, people don't understand what racism really means sometimes. Like on our the Oliver Anthony reaction that we did, someone called me racist because I said that I agreed with Oliver Anthony and said people should stop wasting their food stamps on unhealthy food.
I don't
How
think
is
that has to
that
do with race. It's funny.
racist?
Yeah.
I mean, you're the one making it racist by associating the statement I just made with a race. That was just a blanket statement to anybody on welfare, regardless of their race.
Yeah. So the other thing is, so the lyrics here, right? So he says some people protest, some people riot, which is interesting. He doesn't even talk about, and he doesn't make any. It's just a fact statement. He's not. He's just letting us know this is how some people deal with this, with the reality in his mind of black people being killed in the streets, right?
Yeah.
Um, and then he continues to say, we ain't never escaping this virus till the cops that are racially biased, we no longer enable these liars. So, I mean, that's a fair statement. You know
Yeah,
what I
and
mean?
he's not saying all cops, because it's
Exactly.
not all cops, and we really have to stop vilifying one large group of people for the actions of few.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like a straw man. Like you'd be hard pressed to find almost anybody, but especially anybody in public life that would actually come out and
And
say,
admit to being racist.
well, no, not even not only that. There's if people are genuinely racist, they have no problem letting people know. Do you know what
That
I
is
mean? They don't try to
true.
hide it.
Yeah.
A lot of them. Not to say that there's some people that won't lie about
Well,
that.
there are some people who would probably be afraid of getting beat
The
up
backlash,
and stuff
yeah.
like that.
But oh man, I just lost my train of thought.
Something about racist.
Yeah, I know. It cut me off. I don't remember now.
I thought we were getting to your point.
We were. I don't remember what I was saying. Whatever. So the cops. So yeah, he's referring to like the cops that are racially biased, right? Once we stop enabling them, this virus will be escaped. Which, so there, the what the virus is kind of amorphous. It's like, is it
Yeah.
is it racism itself? Is it black people dying? Do you know what I mean? It's like I don't know what
Well,
he
I mean,
means.
for there to be a virus, you have to believe that there's like very, very serious racism problem in America.
Yeah,
And I just don't think that there is. So I don't really agree with the statement.
I remembered my point.
There you go.
So what I was going to say is there's nobody in general, but definitely nobody in public life who would actually say we don't want racially biased police to be fired. Do you know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like
yeah.
everybody wants racially biased police
Or
to be
racially biased
fired.
anybody. Anyone who's racist and anyone who's conducting themselves in their career in a racist manner,
Yeah, if
we
you're
would want them all
treating
fired.
people differently based on
Yeah.
their race. That was my
We can all
point.
agree with that, but the problem is people start making it seem like it's the whole country, and it's just not.
Yeah. So then this is what's interesting. So this is where it gets weird again. So he says we have to stop enabling these liars, right, who are racially biased. And he says you get them on tape, they stick to a story, like Spider-Man crawling up the side of a wall, and some are just as unabiding as lawmen, like Garrett Rolfe and Derek Chauvin.
Okay.
Okay. So there's a little cool little thing here. He says you get them on tape. They stick to a story. So like tape and stick. And then he equates it to Spider-Man crawling up the side of a wall,
And
right?
he's like sticky because he uses his
Web, whatever that
yeah.
is. Yeah. So so what he's referring to is, like police officers, they're recorded doing something, but then they stick to their story as to this is why we did it, whatever.
That is really bad. The problem, the fact that like even when a cop does something wrong, like they're always protected.
Of
Like it's
course,
good to see like cops who do bad things get in trouble for it
of
because it used to
course.
not happen like that. It used to be like no matter what they did, they were always protected.
Of course, and well, because the problem is like they do have a very dangerous job, so the cops can see it from that cop's perspective, even if they wouldn't have acted that way.
Yeah,
It's like any other organization. People that are in like any any type of job together, they empathize with each other and they tend to like like form a strong bond. You know what I mean?
for sure.
So, okay, this is what's interesting. So then he says some are just unabiding as lawmen, like Garrett Rolfe and Derek Chauvin. Okay, so meaning that they're just not good cops.
Yeah.
So the Derek Chauvin, we all know that is the George Floyd, the officer that had his knee on George Floyd's neck.
Who's Garrett Ross?
So this is the weird thing about this. I don't know if you remember, there was Rayshard Brooks, who in I think it was Georgia, he was passed out in the drive-through line of a Wendy's.
Okay, yeah.
And then the cops are talking to him for 40 minutes, calm and peaceful, and they go to arrest him for DWI. He starts resisting. They're trying to get him. He wrestles with the cop. He grabs the cop's taser and then runs away, and they shot him.
Yeah.
So, and he wasn't charged. They let him go. You know what I mean? Like the cop, they investigated and they didn't press charges. And there was tons of black prosecutors and police force people that were part of that investigation saying no, he acted properly here. Do you know what I mean?
Well, I mean, this is for anybody. It could have been any race, any person at all. If you grab any type of weapon that belongs to a cop, they can shoot you.
Yeah.
Like, even if it's just a taser, anything,
So
they
the
can shoot you.
yeah, so the argument that
Because you could use it against them.
so not only them but other people. So that's the other thing. So
Well,
people
the thing is, like, people are like, oh, but it's just a taser. But you could have tased the cop and then took his gun. Like, you
exactly.
have to think about
And
like they have to think 10 steps ahead so they know how to react in a situation like that.
or you could shoot other people. Do you know what I mean? Like
Well,
not even
literally,
just the cops. So
I
like
mean, yeah,
if
but
so look at it from the cop's perspective, you have a weapon, whether it's a firearm or a taser, that can really hurt people one way or the other. So if somebody takes that from you, you're responsible for your weapon, whether you have it or
yeah,
not. Do you know what I mean? So the debate was he I believe he turned around and fired it at them, the taser, while he was running away. So the fact that he was running away, people were like, he was running away. Why'd you shoot him in the back? He
what
was
kind
running
do you
away.
know if it was one of the tasers where it like shoots out?
It is.
Is that the only type of taser they have?
No, so there's like the one you have that you can
Oh,
just,
yeah.
you know what I mean?
The one
Just
I
put on
have.
somebody. Yeah.
Yeah, watch out, guys. I
But
have one.
yeah, the prong. So whatever. Anyway, that's the story. That is completely different, even in the law's eyes. Those two cops, Derek Chauvin and Garrett Rolfe, had very different legal outcomes. Derek Chauvin
Yeah,
was convicted of first degree murder, which still don't know how they pulled that one off, which just means premeditated. He obviously was minimum guilty of manslaughter, right?
yeah.
Being responsible for somebody else's death, although that gets debated as well. But he got convicted of first degree
That is
murder.
interesting when you think of the definition of first degree murder.
Yeah, I know. So it was crazy.
It's like if you go home, get a gun, and come back and shoot someone because of like an argument, they still might not consider that first degree murder
It's a crime of
because it's a
passion.
crime of passion, and crime of passions aren't first degree murder. So it's crazy that Like, you need significant premeditation for a first-degree murder charge.
Yeah.
Like,
So
long period of premeditation.
yeah. So I mean, the whole George Floyd, Derek Chauvin thing, that's a whole can of worms. My point mentioning it's interesting that Eminem apparently is viewing these two cops in the same vein, which forget
Yeah,
what
I don't
we
think that's necessarily fair.
it's
Derek Chauvin should be charged with manslaughter, but Garrett Rolfe, it's like
he wasn't charged either way.
he
Do you know
was
what I
just
mean?
protecting himself, his other cops, and the general public.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, in my eyes, the most important part is the fact that he had his taser and he could have tased the cop and took his gun, and then he'd have his gun. So then that would be a big problem.
Yeah. So I doubt at this point when Eminem the album was released, he obviously wouldn't know the outcome of maybe even Derek Chauvin. I don't even know. But whatever. Hindsight, we know in the law's eyes,
Yeah,
those cops are not viewed the same.
that's such like a wild thought because now it's like he wasn't convicted. He's
Yeah.
just like, yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah. So then it continues. No cap, still riding with Colin. Though some people don't like me at all. So these lyrics are worded weird. I'm going to read from here. Though some people don't like me at all, and some are like bees to flowers, because some people find me appalling. So there's
Like appalling, like you're shocking in a bad way, but then appalling, like pollen from a flower.
So yeah, the first line, no cap, I'm still riding with Colin. So no bullshit, but Colin Kaepernick, right? Kaepernick. Then he says, some people don't like me at all. And then some are like bees to
Oh,
flowers.
like summer.
Some are like bees to SUMMER, yes.
Mm.
And then cause some people find me a pollen, like you already pointed out, pollen.
I miss the
bees.
summer.
Yeah. And then he continues, ooh, I say a line, people are outraged, the press slams me again. People ain't having it nowadays. So we get there's no hidden meaning there. That's just a statement of fact. Then he continues, then give an album that I put out in like 2000, you griped about, praise. But I wake up every day even more caked up than the makeup on your clown face, and I laid my foundation and...
What album?
So I think he's referring to the Marshall Mathers LP. So the line before was the press slams me again about the lines that I say, right? And then he's like, and then an album that I put out in 2000. So they trashed it then, right? They're like, this is so outrageous, right? But it's considered a classic, even by his critics. He's like, so I said the wildest shit back then, and now you're praising that album, but you're freaking out about lines I'm saying now. It's like, it's interesting. And then he does this little scheme. I wake up every day with more caked up than your makeup down your clown face as I lay my foundation. So,
Who's he talking to here?
oh, your clown face. I think he's just anybody that's critiquing him. They're a clown, so they would have,
I was thinking like Trump or maybe like a woman.
I think he's just talking about
Just
like
anybody.
yeah.
Because you're a clown. Got it.
And then makeup and then foundation is obviously a type of makeup, but foundation meaning
It's also like what goes over the skin part, the like cakey part.
yeah. All right, let's finish this song. Here we go.
I got a question. What rhymes with pariah? Lego? You just bit into the lit, into the wick shit. I meant shit into the stick. I'm addicted to friction and mischief. It's like a bitch's midriff. Shit gets my dick stiff as the stick ship. Dick is in Cheney, trip is in sailing. They bring my name up just to get ratings. It's like trying to choose between busy, lazy, or wish against crazy. Cause I got a bone to pick and Slim Shady. With thug and harmony. Who attempt to diss Haley. Bitch, I will go in like it's raining and I get canceled like once a day. Why would I go? It's more fun to stay. You get me to leave, there's no fucking way. I got a better chance of fucking young M.A. Ooh, sounds like I'm zoning. So me saying I'm out nice to know me. It's like asking me where my shin is. It's downright baloney. Well, we can play hide the salami. If your gal like to blow me, my wave is like a tsunami. These flows you're still trying to wrap your head around, like you're a swami. Just call me the Mike Kamikaze with Mike Zombie, and I'ma just keep bombing, cause the game is mine like an IED. If they ever do cancel me like Live PD, said I'm taking some of you with me if I'm leaving. It's time to murder you now, psych beat me. I might be D to the fucking ice ZZY from rapper circles around these hoes just like girdles, and every word from my mouth so fire I should beat burnt to the ground. There's a fucking circus in town, yeah, bitch, disperse from the clown. ICP, R. Kelly sex tape, ICP. My shit is intense like TPs. You getting wiped like TP. You don't like me, you can bite my little white wee wee. And I repeat, you can bite my little white wee wee. Long as I like be eating ever since my preteen. Stripely jeans and Grandma Nan's little black and white TV. Now I'm so bougie that I stick out my pinky every time I drink tea. Used to want a wife sweet tea. Used to rock white beaters, now I let your wife beat me. So you can eat shit, but I might be the shit. So when I say eat shit, I mean me.
All right.
Oh, an ad.
All right. I'll let it play. So that's so funny. See what I meant though about the content being all over the place.
Yeah, like it starts out. I don't even remember how the song started out.
First verse was kind of him talking about his skills, right? Yeah. Oh no, I want you to change, but don't change. So talking about like,
yeah, so more of like his issue with his fans and their issue with his music and what he's been putting out lately.
and then the second verse is racial justice, and then the third verse is like shit talking, but like silly too.
Yeah.
All right. So third and final verse.
Eesh!
Bless you.
Ow.
You okay?
I'm pregnant, so that kind of hurt. I'm good.
So the third verse starts, I got a question. What rhymes with pariah?
Mariah.
And then he said, I don't know, Lego?
I'm like, okay.
So I believe I read that Mariah did a voice in a Lego movie. So maybe he picked Lego on purpose, but obviously, like you said, Mariah Carey, he's invoking.
Yes.
Okay. The lyrics, especially in this verse, is very bad. They've been bad for the whole song, but this is terrible. This part's all right. So he says, you just bit into the lit end of the wick. Shit, I meant shit end of the stick. I'm addicted to friction and mischief. It's like your bitch's midriff. Shit gets my dick stiff as a stick shift.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean, this is just
Self-explanatory.
it's clever rhyming, biting into the lit end of the wick, which obviously isn't a good thing to
It's
do.
the candle part.
And then he flips it like I'm at the shit end of the stick. So, you fucking with him is not good. You know what I mean? It's not good for
Yeah.
you. And then he's addicted to friction and mischief. So he likes causing problems. And then yes, gets his dick stiff from the wife's midriff. Okay. And I don't know why I love the way the sound this part here, where he says dick is in Cheney, drip is in saline. They bring my name up just to get ratings. It's like trying to choose between busy, lazy, or wish against crazy, because I got a bone to pick and Slim Shady. Okay, so it continues, but we'll just do right here. So Dick is in Cheney, so he's an asshole Dick, but Dick Cheney, former vice president. Drip as in saline, so he's got
Like
the
a saline drip.
but he's got the drip, right? And then they bring my name up to get ratings. So people just mention him, good, bad, they just talk. And then he says it's like trying to choose between busy, lazy, and wish against crazy.
Bone
So
Thugs in Harmony.
Bone Thugs in Harmony. And then he continues with that scheme, because I got a bone to pick with Slim Shady, will thug and harm any who attempt to diss Haley. Bitch, I will go in like it's raining.
So it's a Bone Thugs in Harmony scheme.
Yes. He's got a bone to pick with Slim
And then
Shady.
go in like it's raining.
Yeah,
Go in?
You go inside when it's raining.
Oh, okay. It was like there's something here and I'm just missing it.
Yeah.
I was thinking like the words go and in together were saying something related to rain.
Yeah. And then the obvious Bone Thugs and Harmony is the name of the group, but he says Slim Shady will thug and harm any.
Yeah, so Thug
and
Harmony,
yeah. And then obviously the name.
Bone to Pick.
So any of them who go against Dis Haley, I will go in like it's raining. And I get canceled like once a day. Why would I go? It's more fun to stay. You get me to leave. There's no fucking way. I got a better chance of fucking young M.A. Ooh, he does her ad lib.
And she's a lesbian, so
Yes.
it's not gonna happen, probably.
Exactly. He's never gonna leave. He likes staying. He gets canceled all the time, so it means nothing to him. Then, like I said, he does young M.A.'s ad lib. The ooh. He says, ooh, sounds like I'm zoning. So me saying I'm out, nice to know me, is like asking where my shin is. It's downright baloney.
So below knee, like your shin is beneath your knee, but then he sounds like he's saying below knee, like the lunch meat.
Correct.
Bologna.
And then with that scheme, he says, oh, we can play hide the salami.
That's sex.
Yes. And then the bologna, it's tying that
Yeah.
together.
Lunch meat scheme.
Yeah. If your gal would like to blow me, my wave is like a tsunami. These flows you're still trying to wrap your head around like you're a swami. So this is a cool little thing he does when he starts with the salami, right? And then your girl would like to blow me. My wave is like a tsunami. So your wave is like your, I don't even know how to describe it. I know, oh, this is my wave. Like it's like your your vibe, your flow, my wave, your style. So his wave is like a tsunami. So obviously tsunami is very strong. And then wrap your head around his flow is like a swami because swamis, have that headwear. And then he says, just call me the Mike Kamikaze with Mike Zombie, and I'ma just keep bombing because the game is mine like an IED. If they ever do cancel me like live PD.
So it's like a bomb scheme
So yes,
or like a war scheme because you got kamikaze, you've got bombing, you got IED.
yeah, pretty much. And then yeah, the Mike Kamikaze. So he had an album called Kamikaze, but it's like a suicide pilot. And then Mike Zombie is the guy who produced this. Earlier on in the song, you heard his tab where it says "Zombie on the beat."
Okay.
That's him, right? And then I'm gonna just keep bombing. The game is mine, like an IED. So like the mine,
It's like the thing you step on it and it
yeah,
explodes.
which is an IED. And then he says, if they ever do cancel me, like live PD, which during the whole George Floyd thing and the aftermath of that, there was, a lot of friction with the police that they canceled live PD as a result. He says, said I'm taking some of you with me if I'm leaving. It's time to murder you. It's time to murder you now, side BB. I might be D to the fucking IZZ. Y from wrapping circles around these hoes. So I'm taking you with me if you leave. And then he says, it's time to murder you now, side B. B.
Because that's the
Side,
album.
side B. And then he uses B as like you call someone B. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like bitch.
Yeah. Well, no, like in a friendly way. Like, what's up, B?
No, I know, but doesn't mean bitch. Like in a friendly way.
So I didn't think so. No, I
So what does
thought
it
it.
mean?
So I thought it was. Okay, so I could be totally pulling this out of my ass. With the yo, what's up, B? I thought it came from like boy, like homeboy,
Oh,
home B. You know what I mean? I
okay.
could be making this up.
Well, if I ever say that to someone, it's usually to a girl, and I mean bitch, but in a friendly way.
Yeah, so I don't know. I don't think that's what how it originated, but who knows? I could be wrong. So yeah, he's saying it's side B, and then he repeats it. Then he says, "I might be DI to the fucking IZZY from wrapping circles around these hoes." So dizzy.
Dizzy.
Okay. Then he continues. This is wrong too. Okay. Then he says, "Just like girdles, and every word from my mouth so fire." So keep wrapping circles around these hoes, just like girdles. So a girdle or a circle around, right? Um, and every word from my mouth is so fire, I should be burnt to the ground. There's a fucking circus in town. Yeah, bitch. This verse finna clown. ICP. R. Kelly sex tape. ICP.
So yeah, it goes into the Insane Clown Posse, and that's ICP. They're clowns. And then R. Kelly sex tape. He peed on a girl, so PP.
Yeah, so it's fire, so he should be burnt to the ground. And then there's a fucking circus in town, right? So we've actually heard this imagery from him before, but then the circus obviously goes with clowns, and then like you already pointed out, the Insane Clown Posse, and which is short for ICP, and then he reiterates ICP, but in the context of R.
R.
Kelly's
Kelly.
sex tape, which peed on the girl. And then he says, "My shit's intense, like TP's. You're getting wiped like TP. You don't like me. You can bite my little white wee wee. I repeat, you can bite my little white wee wee as long as I LIV." So, yeah,
Got it.
he's still doing, my shit's intense like TP. So, TP is a tent, right? Like you camp in, but TP, the Native American stuff, you get wiped like
Yeah.
TP, toilet paper, you don't like me, bite my dick. And then he repeats it, which is very funny. It like made me giggle when I hear that. And then he says, and ever since my preteens, striped Lee jeans and Grandma Nan's little black and white TV, now I'm so bougie that I stick out my pinky every time I drink tea. Used to want a wife sweet tea. Okay, so that's on the next screen. But yeah. So ever since he was in his preteens and he had Lee jeans and his little Nan's white, So
Yeah, like he had not much when he was younger, and now he's got a lot more, being a celebrity and a rapper.
Yeah, he's so bougie that he sticks his pinky out every time he drinks tea, which is very funny. Made me laugh. Then he continues, used to want the wife sweet tea, so she was a rapper from the 80s, I think. Used to rock wife beaters, now I let your wife beat me. So you can eat my shit, but I might be the shit. So when I say eat shit, I mean me. So yeah. He wore wife beaters, now people's wives are beating him off and what?
People's wives are beating him off.
Yeah, that's what he says. And then you could eat shit, but he's the shit, so he means eat him. And then it just ends. So
it's interesting. There's a lot going on in just a short 3-minute song.
Yeah.
It's good though. I like the chorus. It's fun. It's got like good flow and a good beat. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. It is fun. It's schizophrenic in its direction and content, you know what I mean? It's all over the place, but I love it. I liked, it's interesting. Even I don't agree with some of his points in it, but
yeah, exactly.
It's cool. It sounds good too, you know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I agree with that.
Maj was good on the hook, like you said. The chorus was good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely check out Carnivore Snacks, SeatGeek. Like and subscribe, and we'll see you guys tomorrow.
See you. Bye.
Bye.